Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio NXT post-show rewind for September the 10th, 2024. I am Tyler. This is Molly. Who else is with us today? Guys, go around the table and introduce yourselves.
I'm Mac. You know me. I was here last night and the night before, and I'll be here tomorrow and then on Thursday.
You're just kind of always around. Are you going to be with us Friday too?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I'm on vacation this week, bro. So I'm here all week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm CJ Carter.
my night schedule kind of prevents me from doing anything like a normal person. So, when I get the chance to go on vacation, I do as many as I can.
Hell yeah. Yeah, well, Mac, we are pleased as punch to have you here with us tonight to talk NXT and break everything down. And folks, before we can get into all of the amazing action and events that occurred tonight, I do have to give that shout out to our partner on the web, comicbookclick.com. That's comicbookclick.com/Dirt Sheet Radio for all of your pop culture, comic book, professional wrestling, entertainment needs, everything. All in one place. Make it your homepage. Check it out multiple times a day, just like we do. Not because we're legally obligated to do so, but because we love it. And while you're there, be sure to look at our sponsor, NordVPN, where if you sign up for 1 full year through the site, you can get 72% off that first month. The savings are huge. But hey, as much as I love to talk about sponsors and ads and savings, that's not really what we're here to do. We're here to talk NXT, and we're going to start with tonight's main event. We had Trick Williams taking on the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne in a last man standing match, with the winner going on to face All Ego Ethan Page at the October 1st CW Network premiere of NXT. Fantastic match. In the end, Trick Williams picks up the win here in just about 14 minutes and 16 seconds. So he will be getting that shot against All Ego at the October 1st show. Gentlemen, what did you think of tonight's main event, the action itself, and Trick going on to get that shot?
I thought the match was excellent. Like, I'm not a usual NXT watcher. I probably would watch it if I was home and not working nights, but I enjoyed this main event a lot. It seemed like there might have been a timing issue because the referee was counting very fast for a last man standing match. A couple of the spots took me out of it with, like Pete Dunne popping right up at like 9.5, but it didn't ruin the match for me at all. I thought the ending was super creative with All Ego coming out and taunting both of them and trying to get Pete Dunne up and then taking the back body drop at like 9.5 and just dying through the announce table and Trick standing up and doing the big pose and I thought that was a really good spot, and it kind of popped me while I was sitting here. I went, oh shit, that was creative. So I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's the best last man standing match I've ever seen. I wouldn't say it's the worst, but it's kind of in the middle. I really liked it, and it had me most of the time when I'm watching wrestling, even if it's AEW. So I don't want to think I'm being biased. I'm kind of doing things, taking notes and stuff like that for future shows that we're going to be doing or whatever. And but this one had me interested because it could have gone either way. I pretty much knew that Trick was going to win it because I think they're going back to Trick. But I would have been just as happy.
Sure.
I unfortunately missed a good chunk of this match because my internet's been wonky pretty much all night. And this was the match where it really just decided to screw me over. But anyways, the parts that I did see, I thought were amazing. We knew what this was going to be, an absolute banger of a brawl with Pete Dunne. Trick Williams, as fantastic as he's been, both men looked incredible as far as the parts of the match that I saw. I did make sure to watch the finish, the back. Completely.
Back body drop?
Yeah. Off the top, through the tables. Beautiful. And the moment you're talking about with Ethan Page going through the announce table at 9.5, that is another example of some more cinematic shots that we've seen in the post Kevin Dunn era of production. So I'm glad to see that, because I thought it was a great spot as well. So hopefully we continue to see more spots like that.
It was great. One of the things that I liked about it is that you could make an argument that without Ethan running at Trick, he wouldn't have actually stood up by the 10. He was still down. You can make an argument that it's the wrestler's instinct. Oh, someone's running at me. Shit, better flip him over. That's just, you're working on that muscle memory. You can make an argument that if he hadn't done that, that muscle memory wouldn't have kicked, and it just would have been everybody down at 10. But I loved it also for that reason. It was incredibly creative, and your hands are a little tied when you're doing a last man standing match on TV. There's only so much you can do, even on the USA Network, and they did a great job within those limitations. Mac, like you were saying, it wasn't the greatest last man standing match ever, but it's far from the worst. It was an excellent television last man standing match, and that finish really, it really made it.
Yeah, you're not going to get a Chris Jericho Triple H from Judgment Day 2000 level of last man standing match on television, but I thought that what they did with it, they made the absolute best of it. They made chicken salad out of chicken shit, and I thought it was great. The one thing I did think, though, when they went up to the top of the Eagle's Nest, was I thought we were going to get a double 10 down and we were going to get a triple threat. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, they're doing the old Batista and Undertaker from Backlash 07. I'm like, nah. And then when they just both got up, I was like, oh, I like that about wrestling, because I've been a wrestling fan for 25 years, and I'm just so used to seeing those spots and going, nah, here it comes. I can see it coming from a mile away. But when they both actually get up and they surprise you, are some of the best moments in wrestling. And that really surprised me tonight. And I was happy it didn't go where I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
That subversion of expectations really, especially when it's that unexpected, just hits that much harder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. But, gentlemen, anything else on tonight's main event, or shall we hop around to the star of tonight's program?
I think it's worth noting that they announced after the show that CM Punk was going to be, as well as October 1st, he's also going to be there next week, which they did tease earlier in the night after Giulia's debut. But I guess we'll just talk about that later on, or did we want to talk about that?
We'll hit on that when we get to Giulia's match here, which was a little earlier in the show than I thought it was going to be. But we will get there just a bit here.
They also right before the main event, they also announced that Tyrese Halliburton from the Indiana Pacers will be on NXT next week.
I got a kick out of HBK's response. Just watch yourself in the parking lot, and it's like, dude, do something about it.
Yeah, dude, I said the same thing. I go, dude, you are aware in canon of the NXT parking lot killing Hideo Itami, and you did nothing about it.
Like, even on a kayfabe level, it's like, dude, okay, but you'd get fired for that in real life. If you had led to a hostile work environment, that's just lost.
That dangerous, yeah. Like, so there's just no adherence to OSHA regulations. I mean, and really, in the danger of it, when they opened tonight's show and showed, folks walking in, Jada Parker's in the background of every shot with a baseball bat.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, in kayfabe, is Shawn Michaels supposed to be watching this show on the monitor? Does he not see that one of his employees has a baseball bat and is waiting for three of his other employees? So now presumably, Jada Parker was waiting. What's the name of the group that she was waiting for?
Fatal Influence.
Fatal Influence. So now if one of those, if Giulia or Trick Williams was Fatal Influence, you got to believe Jada Parker was going to bash their brains in with a baseball bat. And Shawn Michaels just watching it on the monitor going, yep, this is good shit.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, that's my Negan. Like, seriously, like, there'll be busted heads out there. Like, it's dangerous. It is dangerous. And, luckily for Fatal Influence, they didn't, I guess, go through that section of the parking lot whilst Jada was out there. It's the threat is real, guys. The threat is real. But yeah, it's Molly. But tonight's first match, it was scheduled originally to be Axiom and Nathan Frazier, or Fraxium, as I like to call them, taking on the Rascals. But unfortunately, it would appear as though Trey Miguel had to have some minor surgery, and so he's going to be out of action for a few weeks. So that match did not take place as scheduled. Instead, we got the Street Profits making their return to NXT to get the title shot here, which to me was kind of a screw you to everyone else that was in that triple threat last week. But whatever. I'd be less angry if this didn't mean it was kind of screwing over Hank and Tank. But, you know, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. The match was flippin' fantastic until about 7 minutes and 50 seconds when the Bloodline showed up without Solo Sikoa, and they attacked everybody.
Dude, they look fantastic.
I gotta say though, I loved the fact that he just got so into that bit that he was the only one not throwing up the ones. He's just like, the one thing, literally the one thing that you have to do as a group, and you're too busy being a rabid animal to just throw a finger up.
Dude, when Tanga Loa got in the ring and hit Axiom with that clothesline, he put his whole ass into that thing, dude. He rocked him, and I was like, yeah, he's hearing the chatter online about him being worthless, and he just took it out on he just took it out on poor A-Kid. Like, he's dead now.
Crazy.
It's true. He has to be aware of it because Triple H is probably showing him the memes he sees on Twitter during the show. It's like we know that H is looking at that stuff, so everyone's aware. But yeah, but I was mad, guys. I'm going to be honest. Like, normally, like, if you want to do a non-finish, and I feel like there were a few of these tonight, yeah, do it every once in a while. But this one actually irked me because I feel like this wouldn't have been the finish had the Rascals actually been in the match, right?
No, I don't think it would have been the finish. I think the Rascals probably would have won the NXT tag team championships tonight.
Even more upset that it didn't happen that way, but hopefully we'll still get that once Trick's healthy.
I disagree. I don't think the Rascals would have won the title. I think Wesley would have found a way to interfere and cost them the match.
So you think West would have been the issue then had it been the Rascals? It wouldn't have been the Bloodline.
Well, he was there, yeah. So
yeah. So I figure, you know, and we'll talk about Wesley later, but I think this will probably just set something up for SmackDown this week as well. So because of WWE week, it all will tie together. But I thought this was a hell of a match. It was just incredible. If not the Rascals, I'm glad that it was the Profits. I didn't realize that that Trey Miguel was injured until I sat down and started watching the show. But you know, like I said, if not the Rascals, I'm glad it was these guys because Dawkins is criminally underrated, even still. Like, and Montez Ford, all credit where he's due. He is a hell of an athlete. Dawkins is just as good, but he doesn't have as much flash as Montez Ford does. So I think that's why he doesn't get as much vocal fan support as he should. But this was wonderful until the Bloodline interference.
Yeah.
There was an NXT video right afterwards of them walking out and Tama Tonga doing the yeah the whole time, and he says by orders of the tribal chief.
Okay.
So I guess I'll be right back, guys. Hold on one second. My dog's throwing up. I'll be right back.
Oh no,
that's unfortunate.
All right. While we are awaiting the return of Mac, so NXT Anonymous had a video. Now, this actually aired yesterday on the socials. But they did show it here tonight as well. So we saw Tony D'Angelo giving an envelope full of cash to a gentleman standing behind some fogged glass there. And it was a big mystery, who's he paying off? We know that he's having someone go at Femi, but we did not know who it was. And that would be revealed a little bit later in the show. After that, we had a very well put together hype video for Giulia, which was good. It really, showed a good bit of what she's capable of, and hopefully, Thunder Rosa will quit complaining online about how they didn't do enough to hype Giulia last week.
I mean, it's not like she didn't debut it's not like she debuted last week. Save it for the moment it matters most, which is exactly what they did.
Yep. And it was a good hype video. It was. I thought that it was, all their videos like that are very well put together, but it did set up for what was tonight's second match on the card. And as I said, this happened a lot earlier in the show than I expected, but we had Giulia making her in-ring debut on NXT television against Chelsea Green. And I think predictably, Giulia picks up the win here in 6 minutes and 53 seconds. I will say I feel like Chelsea got a wee bit more offense than I was expecting here in this match, although a lot of it came cheaply from her. So, I can't really complain too much. But great showing from Giulia. Really, really excited to see what she does here in NXT and WWE in general. And I think it says a lot that WWE trusts Chelsea Green enough to have Giulia in her in-ring debut here. I actually said to Mac during the show that I feel like she's kind of in almost like Dominic Mysterio kind of slot, where it's like, hey, you're going to get your ass kicked most of the time, but we trust you to give a good match with people that are coming in that are important, that we need to look good, but we need to also make sure don't get hurt.
Very much the Dolph Ziggler role when he was there.
Yeah. I think Chelsea did get a little bit of offense, but you're not going to get the type of matches out of Giulia that you got in Stardom and Marigold or anywhere else around the world. In NXT, we just got to resign ourselves to the fact that she's going to be booked 50-50 at some point, maybe not right away. But she's gonna fall victim to some of the WWE tropes. I know it's a new management. We're in the Leveckian era and everything, and Shawn Michaels is cooking down in NXT with his chef hat and everything. But at some point, she's going to get a lot of like Chelsea got a lot of offense in on her. Some of those girls down there, like someone like Sol Rock Aruka, or somebody like Lola Vice, look, Roxanne Perez is going to get a lot of offense in on her, We just need to reside our fact now that the Giulia of Japan and Stardom and Marigold is gone, and this is the TV American wrestling Giulia. She can still be a badass. She can still have the aura. She can still look like an 11 out of 10. But we're going to have to, I wouldn't say tamper our expectations, but I think we're just going to have to tamper them to the WWE level.
Well, and I was going to ask, how much of this was Giulia wrestling to the WWE style?
You know what? Like, when she started off the match, I thought that her selling was a little bit shitty. I thought when Chelsea Green came off the rope and hit her with a kick, it looked like she was supposed to fall down, but she hit the rope instead and grabbed her eye and turned around, and they were kind of like miscommunication for a second, but they got back on track. She hit her patented second rope drop kick, and Chelsea went flying. She hit her knee. She hit her modified Emerald Flosion. So she was doing her Japan moves, but you could tell they were like, listen, don't go 90 miles per hour. Maybe go 65. And she did. Because even though she got 7 minutes, what'd she get, 7 minutes or something?
Yeah, it was right under 7 minutes, 6 minutes and 53 seconds.
she did enough that you want to see more. You want to see a 15-minute match out of her. She gave you just a little taste. She didn't give you the whole a whole slice of the cake. She just gave you a little sliver, and she left you wanting more. I thought it was good. And like, you know, Tyler said in the chat to me earlier, Chelsea Green is trusted with people like this, and she gave her a good match. I mean, I'm not going to go and say it was the best match, but I think that when she gets in there with Roxanne, someone whose experience is on the run of a lifetime right now, those two are going to make magic. I can just feel it right now.
I really hope they give them at least like 15 minutes on that October 1st episode. That should really be. I mean, they are building it this way, but I mean, is that going to be? Shoot, I mean, what's the main event? Actually, I just kind of real quick. Diversion here, but we know the two big title matches on that card are going to be Trick Williams and Ethan Page, and Giulia and Roxanne Perez. What do you put as the main event? Because honestly, I would go with Roxy and Giulia.
I would also go with Roxy and Giulia, but I think they're going to go with Trick and Page.
I feel the same way. I think because of the way that this show was structured tonight, with Giulia in the second match, and then her staring down Jordynne Grace in the semi-main event, and you know, I know she was there and then she was there like right before the main event with Roxanne in Ava Rain's office. I think I'm with CJ. I think I'm going to go with Ethan Page and Trick Williams. I'm not, and you know what? And the Chelsea Green Giulia match isn't worthy of a main event. Pete Dunne and Trick Williams is, so I can understand why they position that in the main event. But if you were going to go with Giulia in the main event of the CW show, you could have put her in there with somebody else that you could have got a main event out of. But they decided to go with Chelsea. They went the safe route, and that's great. But it's going to be Trick and it's going to be Ethan.
I disagree. I think they're going to announce CM Punk as a special guest referee next week, and then that's going to make it the main event.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they said he's going to be on NXT next week, specifically to announce something for CW. And I was like, oh, I don't see anything else, literally nothing else he could be doing on this show. I guess CM
Punk just has it in his contract that he can hang out with the girls in NXT.
The boys too.
Please phrase that differently next time, I beg you.
No, he means that.
We don't want misconstrued accusations or allegations.
No.
AJ Lee getting upset, like it's
no.
But no, I thought that this was a well-handled television debut overall for Giulia. And again, like, really look forward to seeing what she does, not just in NXT, but WWE in general. And I figure she'll be in NXT for a minute. You know, in large part, I would think it's to just get her really acclimated to that WWE main event style, getting used to how they shoot everything. And, you know, it is different, you know, even working from, you know, obviously I've never done it, but from what I understand, even working television from one company to another, there's differences. There's differences between how TNA produces things to, you know, how WWE does it. And, you know, it's that's why a lot of people have little stops there. But yeah, I thought that was...
I've worked in a few different control rooms at different levels of, you know, like national broadcast versus local kind of thing, and it's definitely different, you know. But still the same.
But all right. So moving on from there, we had a quick interview segment backstage with Trick Williams. And I was just kind of hyping again tonight's main event, which we discussed at the top of the show. From there, via a social media bump, we had Jordynne Grace giving a promo in an empty arena talking about her open challenge tonight. And she stated that NXT needed to bring their best for that open challenge. And gosh, let's see. So I keep my notes for here. The one thing, I love NXT so much, but sometimes I kind of wish they would just kind of like, you know, do your segment and then do the entrance. Don't do an entrance and then a segment, because it always throws me off in my notes. Because they had Javon Evans come out with Cedric Alexander for the Heritage Cup, but then we had Lexus King hanging out in the barbershop. And as I said on the Facebook, professional wrestling is real. Lexus King's beard is fake. That is.
I looked at that and I was like, there is no way that that's not paint. Like that looks like do you ever see the Santa Claus 2 and that Tim Allen Santa doll? It looks like that facial hair structure down at the bottom, and the rest is just paint.
No, you know what I said it looked like the other day? I said it looked like that thing where you got the little red pen, and you had to put the
Woolly Willy.
You had to put Woolly Willy. You had to put the magnet on his face. Yeah.
It's just so.
Do you know what that is, CJ? Being
dark.
Canadian?
Not a clue. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a Canada thing or if it's just because you guys are so much older than me or what the deal is.
So much.
Oh, this is it.
So much older.
So much.
Wow, you guys are. Dicks.
I will say, a lot of our compatriots here on Dirt Sheet Radio do often make me feel pretty old at 39. I will say that, but yeah.
I am a '90s baby. I don't know what to tell you.
Mac, what was the Woolly Willy's girlfriend? Because there was a lady version of it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Woolly
Let me
Wilma?
look it up.
What the fuck are you guys talking about?
Woolly Willy!
I have no idea.
That's not the Operation guy?
No.
Different guy. Wow. Hey, you know what, John? That's racist. That's racist,
fuck.
man.
You're right. I apologize. I was very insensitive to all the red nose people.
All the red
all the McDonald family.
But back from
Oh god, I love you guys. This is fantastic.
Toys of antiquity, as I guess. God, I feel old now. But yeah, Lexus King.
Oh
in the
shit! I found it.
Oh, what is it? What's she called? Sorry.
Is it called Hairdo Harriet?
Hairdo Harriet.
Jesus,
All right.
what the fuck?
How are we still on this?
You know how easily entertained you old motherfuckers were?
Dude, sorry we didn't have fucking
Hairdo Harriet and ball on a stick.
Hey, don't you badmouth ball on a stick. All right.
It was your fault we had to live through endless skip it ads in the 90s. None of us wanted to skip it. You motherfuckers wanted to skip it.
We had booze.
I'm gonna have that fucking Skip It song stuck in my fucking head. Fuck you, John.
All right.
The very best thing of all.
All right, I'm steering this back to wrestling. So Lexus King, with his fake-ass beard, got jumped by Oro Menza in a barbershop. So now, not only is the parking lot not safe, but wherever they're getting their hair done is also not safe. He was just trying to show off the montage video that some fans made. You made that yourself, Lexus.
Also, I don't know, did NXT hire or fire Mello's barber, or did Mello just bring that specific barber up to SmackDown with him?
Yeah, he was SmackDown.
And then NXT is just like, oh fuck, we need another barber.
Yeah. And they haven't been able to find a suitable replacement quick.
And so they hired this guy, and this is the result of his handiwork. It's Lexus King's beard.
Has to step down. That is going from gourmet to great value real quick.
That is not even great value. That is the dumpster behind the Walmart.
Jesus, that is rough. But back in the arena, in the women's locker room, Kalani Jordynne was helping Lola Vice warm up, and everyone was all on Twitter talking about the open challenge that Jordynne Grace is having later that night. I had a couple of these segments. We should get a couple of these. I swear, Sean finds a way to get pretty much every woman on the roster at least on television every week. It's absolutely wild. You can tell where his focus is. But from there, we had our second title match of the evening. The Heritage Cup was being defended by Charlie Dempsey against the young OG, Javon Evans. Guys, this was one of my favorite Heritage Cup matches to date. Even with a interference finish, which, you know, I'd rather have a clean finish, but I get it. They're trying to protect Javon a little bit. And it was a hell of a way to bring Tavion Heights back from Japan. But Charlie Dempsey retains the cup in an aggregate wrestling time of 11 minutes and 57 seconds. But fantastic. What'd you guys think of this one tonight?
I'm not really a fan of the Heritage Cup like rounds and everything. I understand them doing something different, and that's great. It's not for me, but this match was great, man. I've been a fan of Javon Evans when he was, you know, Jay Malachi on the Indies and DPW champion, and you know, killing it all over the Indies and stuff. And I just want something significant from him. I was under no impression that he was going to win the title tonight, or the Heritage Cup tonight. I was under no impression he was going to win it, because Charlie Dempsey seems like one of those guys that's going to hold on to the title for a while. And now with the reintroduction of Tavion Heights coming back from the Noah N1 tournament, where he got a win over Kiyomiya, which was awesome. But yeah, man, that belly to belly was fantastic on the floor. He came out of nowhere. He kind of no-clipped in like Bronson Reed no-clipped in last night. You know, so yeah, man, I'm really happy with the way that the match went, because it protected Javon and he didn't get a clean loss, because they obviously have to have something planned for him in the future, because this kid's way too talented, you know.
Oh yeah.
I used to, when he first hit like DPW back in like 2022, and I first saw him, I really wasn't a fan, because I'm not a fan of just like flippy offense. I like it mixed in, kind of like Will Ospreay's offense, where he does like some heavyweight moves and then some flippy moves and stuff like that. But for some reason, the kid's like charisma and his just the way that he carries himself, it really won me over, because like I said, I'm not a fan of like flippy shit, but I really hope they have something for him, because if they proved anything tonight, it's that he's the future of NXT.
Oh yeah, he's good. Definitely got a bright future. And I think 100%. He showed a little bit more of a ground style here tonight. Not a ton. Like, I'm not saying it was like even half. Like, but I'd say like 15% more of his offense was, you know, based in a little more traditional graps this evening. And I think that was good too. That's something, you know, about that mix of styles that you're going to get having someone like Charlie Dempsey, who is, you know, which is clearly, you know, like, I don't know like what William Regal's wife is like, but I don't think her genes even tried when it comes to Charlie. Like, I'm starting to think that they may have just cloned Regal and aged him. Like, it's wild, but like it's such a different, you know, it's a clash of styles. But I think that it worked really, really well. The match was fantastic. Even you know, Heritage Cup rules aside, like, had this just been a traditional 1-on-1, it still would have worked really, really well. But yeah, it was just great,
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You haven't talked yet.
The first round didn't really click as well with me. I think there was even a point made on commentary, I think at some point, where they thought Javon Evans' style wouldn't mesh well in a Heritage Cup format. And I went into this match kind of thinking that same thing. And round one, I think he was still trying to get his footing, but he definitely felt more comfortable. And I don't think this match type held him back or clashed with him at all. I think he did very well in this type of matchup, and I think this might have even showed he could carry the cup himself one day. But yeah, the thing that pissed me off about this, and it wasn't even the match itself, it was the ultra long commercial break, because the first half hour of Raw was commercial free. Meanwhile, they just end up fucking carbo loading the number of commercials for throughout the rest of the show. Like, I timed this fucking thing. It's usually 4 minutes. It comes out to 7.5. Are you fucking kidding me? Anyways,
and you don't get the picture in picture.
No. And I missed, like, the commercial break starts at the end of the second round when Dempsey gets the first fall of the match. It cuts back to 54 seconds left in round 4.
Oh,
what?
Jesus.
God.
I missed the entire third round and most of the fourth.
Yeah, we saw it all here.
Livid.
It's just, to me, it's absolutely ridiculous that you guys don't get the picture in picture for that. Like that. The only way, like, honestly, to me, the only way it's even excusable to even take a break during a wrestling match is if you're doing picture in picture. No other sport would do this. I've said that a lot on these shows and off these shows. If it was the NFL, they would not cut to a GD commercial in the middle of a play. If it was the NBA, they would not go to commercial in the middle of a play. No sport would do this.
Sometimes in an NFL game, if they go, okay, we're gonna take a 30-second break during a timeout. If the other team doesn't use that 30 seconds and they come back in 20 seconds, they cut that commercial right off and they go right back to the action. So if you're in the middle of like a Tide commercial, they cut it. Right back to the action. They show the ball like being handed off or something, you know. So, but one more thing I wanted to say. So, you said I think Javon Evans would be like the kind of guy that would be going after the Heritage Cup.
Potentially.
I kind of like wrestlers whose style doesn't fit a particular. Like it doesn't fit like the ROH Pure title. When Nigel McGuinness went for the Ring of Honor Pure title and beat Samoa Joe for it, I was like, whoa, what is this? This guy's like hitting people with chairs and taking out irons and hitting people with irons. He's not going to be a good Pure champion. And then he held the Pure championship longer than anybody. He still cheated and he hit people with irons, but he did develop a more ground style and became like an overall like wrestler, because before he won the Pure title, he was just like a brawler.
Yeah.
And having that title really changed his style, and he became an all-around, like, encompassing, I can do anything type of wrestler. And if someone like Javon Evans won that, to see him try to transition into a more, like, European, like, style of wrestling would be really interesting, because I think, much like Nigel, he would just become, like, the perfect wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's fair. Yeah, I actually forgot that they said last week that Tavion Heights would be returning this week.
Did they say it?
Yeah,
they said he would be back, but I kind of forgot because he didn't walk out with them, so I wasn't really thinking about it.
Yeah,
because of that.
Did they have like a graphic or anything, or did they just say it?
They just said it.
They just said it.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the Money in the Bank briefcase thing. They stop mentioning the Money in the Bank briefcase when somebody's carrying it after a while to make you forget that they even have it. It's just like an accessory. You're like, oh, there's Seth Rollins. Yeah, that's what he looks like. And then when at WrestleMania his music goes off, you're like, oh shit, he's Money in the Bank. What? Oh my God, you know. So when they say it and they don't show a graphic, your mind doesn't picture that NXT graphic next to Tavion Heights. They want you to forget it so that when he jumps out and gives a belly-to-belly suplex and sends Javon Evans to hell, you're like, oh, shit.
Which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished, HBK. Mission accomplished. But from there, we got a creepy, spooky video package. I love this shit. I eat it up, guys. But very creepy video package for Rosemary and Wendy Chu. I dug it. I liked Rosemary's voiceover work on this. I thought she did a heck of a job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been meaning to ask you guys this question.
Sure.
And I haven't been able to. Is Wendy Chu dead?
No,
or is she sleepwalking?
I think she's sleepwalking.
Yeah, she's having a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because it says that what did it say on her thing tonight? Like dead something or whatever. It said on her
dead
eye covering.
Inside.
Dead inside. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she's having some just
which
horrible...
honestly, same.
Feels, Wendy. Same feels.
Make a shirt.
From there, backstage, before our next match, we had Sarah Schreiber interviewing Ethan Page about tonight's main event regarding who he was kind of pulling for to win the match. And he played both sides of the fence there and then said that he was, of course, cheering for himself because it's Ethan Page and it is NXT. I don't know how much longer Ethan Page is going to be at NXT, especially if Trick does beat him on the October 1st episode. But I've really enjoyed his time here, and he's just so damn good at this.
Yeah.
See, where it ends for me is when the bell rings.
I disagree. I think he's just as good on the mic as he is in ring. Shout out fellow Canadian, but I think he will fit right in on Raw or SmackDown, wherever he ends up. I'm glad he got this time in NXT. I'm sure he learned quite a bit and was able to help the NXT talent, help them grow.
Yeah,
fantasy booking would be Ethan Page with A-Town Down Under.
God, it's so aggravating. Oh wow.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yep, they would just be oh God. Owens would have to punch 3 people in the face with one punch.
He could do it. He would absolutely want to try.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. All right, so after that, real quick social media bump. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair told Shawn Michaels that they'd be showing up for the CW premiere on October 1st. So again, they are just pumping more people into that show to make it as eye-catching and big as they can. But after that, it is. It's way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long.
Insane.
It's like they were making up for the first half being commercial-free.
Yeah.
But up next, we had one of the featured matches tonight. We had Oba Femi taking on a mystery opponent that was paid off by the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo, and it was revealed to be TNA's Hammerstone. You know in Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, when Shredder takes the ooze and becomes like all jacked up. I imagine if Shane Douglas did this, that's what he would look like.
You know that Super Shredder was Kevin Nash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that Brian Cage
huge.
dyed his hair.
Like Hammerstone,
that's who I thought when he walked out.
Like
he came out and I thought, my fucking music. The franchise.
He really does. He looks like a jack to the ends of the earth Shane Douglas. But yeah, so I will be honest, guys. DSR fan Matt, he called this. He said it was going to be Hammerstone. I was pulling for Moose myself. I thought we were going to get some Moose action tonight.
Yeah.
But I can't really say I was disappointed for more than about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't even. Sorry, go ahead, Beck.
No, you go ahead, CJ.
No, I was just saying it was a solid introduction for Hammerstone to WWE, and it was just a shame it was just to be fed to Oba Femi, though. It makes sense that it wasn't Moose. Like, Moose is too high up on the TNA pecking order to get fed to Oba Femi, but also kind of sucks that it was Hammerstone.
Yeah, I mean, Hammerstone has been having some great matches he had some great well, Josh Alexander's heel now, and he's going after Joe Henry. But he had some really good matches when he had I believe it was a double knockout match with Josh Alexander, and then they had I don't know, it was a hardcore street fight where he did the the Nightmare Pendulum. He did that off the top rope onto Josh Alexander onto tacks and glass. And that match was nuts. I remember I went over to my buddy Corey's house and we were watching it, and I was like, this Hammerstone guy is going to be a star. So I was kind of hoping that it wasn't Hammerstone. What they're doing with Moose and TNA right now is that he's lost the title, the system is falling apart,
right?
And he's kind of like going crazy.
Spiraling.
So I thought if it was Moose that they could have incorporated him losing to Femi into the TNA storyline of him like losing power and losing control.
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked and I was like, you know what? Hammerstone hasn't been really doing anything for a while. And even if Hammerstone goes back to TNA, all he has to do is have one banger and people are going to forget that he lost to Femi.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough.
He's just an impressive looking guy. Like, it's. I don't think this is going to hurt him in the long run, but I will say I genuinely hope that we see more of Hammerstone on NXT television, and I'd like to see him even get some wins. You got to imagine that WWE management is looking at a dude like Hammerstone and just salivating, right? Like, I mean, he's good in the ring. He's again just jacked to the nines. Not sure if he can pass a wellness test or not, but.
You know what's funny is that Hammerstone beat Jacob Fatu for the MLW World Championship, and they were both in the building tonight.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'm sure he would have had to pass some wellness test to get in a WWE ring in the first place.
That's true.
Yeah.
But he is jacked, though.
100%. Brick wall meets other big object.
Because I mean, honestly,
like you said a minute ago, CJ, he's literally TNA's like Ryan Cage. Like he's a guy that can do dives and flips and just all this shit that you wouldn't think that a guy would be able to do. And unfortunately, they're booking him like Brian Cage right now. But hopefully, like you said, we see more of him in NXT because I think you could have some bangers with the guys down there.
Oh yeah, offhand, there's probably 5 or 6 guys that would immediately come to mind that I'd love to see him either work just individual matches or full-fledged programs with. He's just damn but again, and that's part of the joy of the prohibited portal, as it would be the NXT and a crossover is that there are all of these potential matches that they could have, and I hope there's no end in sight for this, and it really feels like there's not. We said this a while ago, but when they first did this with Jordynne Grace, it kind of felt like, okay, they're going to do 1 or 2 little matches here, and that's probably going to be it. But it's been months. It's been months, and it's still going strong. And every week, it's something else. I don't think it's a week of NXT television goes by that we're not getting an interaction from at least one TNA wrestler, and it's awesome. You just absolutely love
great.
It.
Yeah.
But after that, we had Stevie Turner and Robert Stone were talking to Hank and Tank backstage, and I'm still pissy for Hank and Tank, guys. I'm glad they were on television for a couple minutes, but come on! Like, the people who won the match couldn't be in it. There were 2 other teams in the match. You should have just made it a triple threat for the tag titles. That's logic, but no. Had to get the bloodline on TV, didn't you? That's what it was. They just want to get the bloodline on TV.
Oh, man. I don't like Mad Tyler.
I love Mad Tyler. I think it's fantastic.
It's all a good fun, guys. But but after that, the shot just they did that smooth transition to Chase U. Well, what the current members of Chase U that are not in the hospital, but Duke Hudson, Riley Osborne, and Thea Hale walking through the backstage area. He cut a quick promo leading into what would be his match later here, actually coming up shortly. I liked it. I like Duke Hudson a lot. I think he's got a lot of charisma, and he's good on the mic, and he's solid in the ring. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much longer he's going to be down in NXT. I feel like they'd have to have some kind of plan for him. Again, he's a big dude, looks good. But from that, before we hit into the next match, we were back in the women's locker room. Again, had some conflict between Fatal Influence and Lola Vice, and then Fatal Influence took off just as Jordynne Grace was showing up with her bat to find them. But from there, we went into Duke Hudson taking on the vile, despicable, deplorable Ridge Holland.
Looking like a slapped ass. Look at him. Oh, my God.
I'm still blown away by his turnaround. Like, he's sure it's not the best look he had tonight or whatever, but I mean, he's still doing solid work and solid character work as well.
It was a solid match. I'm not going to say that Ridge didn't get a good amount of offense, but it was a fairly dominant win from Ridge Holland. And then the domination just continued after the match, to the point where I kind of thought the ref was maybe going to reverse the decision. Thought we were maybe getting into that kind of territory, because he kicked the shit out of Ridge Holland after that. Or out of Duke Hudson after that.
Hudson.
Yeah. And he made Thea Hale cry. I said this online. Ridge Holland's the most vile heel on the planet because he brought tears to the eyes of the sweet, innocent Thea Hale. I just can't handle it.
Her birthday just passed too. What an asshole.
Oh my God, it gets worse.
She just turned 21.
Oh God.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Thea. Sorry that all your friends are getting killed.
She needs that shirt that says all my friends are dead.
She's just living her own slasher movie right now. She's the final girl. She'll make it. But
dude, let me tell you something. The funniest part of this match for me was how quick that stretcher just photoshopped into the shot. I was like, oh my God, they got that yellow NXT stretcher out there real quick. Like, he had just taken the DDT onto the barricade that was on the ground, and they were literally wheeling out the stretcher. I'm like, were you anticipating him getting his neck snapped? Like, Jesus, dude, you're out there quick.
They were ready to roll. They were ready to roll.
To be fair, though, I'm pretty sure they have those on standby in case somebody actually gets hurt.
Yeah, but dude, it was quick. Like, he hit him with the DDT like this, and then they were like,
they actually brought that through the prohibited portal so quickly.
Oh, okay.
Oh, jeez. But
I thought it was I thought they might have saved that match for maybe like the CW or something, because it had such like personal like ramifications. I don't like that they just. I mean, it was a good showcase for Ridge, showing how dominant he is and this new attitude and everything. But just to have it, I feel like you could have got mileage out of that. Maybe you get a DQ or something like that, right, and Hudson stands tall, and then next week he comes out and says, "Oh, hey, I want to challenge you to a street fight." Or I know that they're doing Wes and
right,
Zachary in a street fight, but whatever, a parking lot brawl or something or whatever, and then have him right off TV like that. Like, you could have got 3 more weeks out of this, and I just feel like they just flushed it down the toilet.
I mean, I wonder if either, let's see, so how many more USA episodes do we have? We have 2 more USA episodes. So I'm wondering if they're maybe going to kind of build this to Andre and Ridge. At the,
that's definitely where it's going. Yeah.
So either like next week or the 24th, you think maybe Ridge beats the hell out of Riley?
Yeah,
I can see that happening.
And then, like, we build towards that. So, I mean, I think they will get, a few weeks. But Mac, you're right. They could have gotten more specifically out of Ridge and Duke, which really should, like, I don't know that they'd even have Andre beat Ridge. But I'm going to be honest here. I feel if any member of Chase U was going to believably beat Ridge Holland, it probably would have been Duke Hudson.
Yeah, so I think... So if I'm thinking about this correctly, I think you could do something like he comes out and he beats the crap out of Riley Osborne last week, who's actually been wrestling really good in TNA, was in the X Division, the Ultimate X match. Yeah. And then maybe there's a threat that he puts his hands on Thea Hale, and that's when we get an Andre Chase return, because he's taken them out systematically one by one until there's going to be nobody left. And Thea Hale, she has that mean streak in her, that wild, like, I don't give a shit, I'm just going to go do it, I'm not going to think about it, Mm-hmm. She could put her hands on him, and there could be a threat, and then Andre Chase comes out, gets the big reaction, challenges him to a match at the CW show, and, then you get your big blow off there maybe. But I mean, now thinking about it, you could go a lot of ways with this. I just think that you could have gotten more mileage out of this Duke Hudson match because he's the biggest, he's the strongest, and he seems like the final boss more than Andre, even though that Andre is the main guy. He's the professor of Chase U, but I think it's more believable that Duke should be the one to take him down. Since he was the MVP, since he has the trophy,
Right.
Well, it has a broken trophy. I think that it'll mean more for Andre Chase being the one to beat him, but also he is tenacious in his own right. Like, he has proved to be resilient in the ring. So I don't discredit Andre Chase. He's got a solid shot on his own.
He has stepped it up in the PLEs. Like, I didn't know he had that kind of in-ring ability until I wasn't familiar with his work on the indie scene before he was in NXT. But he really can step it up. But we'll see what they do with it. It'll be interesting for sure. I like the program, and like I said, kudos to NXT and Shawn Michaels for making me care about what you're doing with Ridge Holland.
So totally unrelated to this match, but it was during this match that I just had the random thought. Well, because I was like connecting dots from my notes earlier on, because I made a note during the first match to be like, what is Booker T's deal with the New Day again? Because like I remember him and Vic Joseph referencing it on commentary, and I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. And then I was thinking about that again during this match, and then I was like, oh man, I miss Big E. And then I realized it was Ridge Holland's match that I was watching, and immediately I'm just like, oh, that's a whole other thing.
Do you remember the Ridge Holland match with Johnny Gargano where he gave him the Randy Orton snap power slam and dropped Johnny Gargano right on his head? It was during the pandemic era. He went like, how Randy Orton has that snap power slam? He was going for one of those and and he dropped Johnny like lawn dart right down on the top of his head. I'm gonna have to send you the clip when the show's over. But it was I just got reminded of it the other day when someone put up the graphic of Duke Hudson and Ridge Holland, and then they were showing his like greatest hits, with like Big E and Johnny Gargano, and so it just reminded me of that.
Oof. Yeah. I do not. I did not recall that one.
Also, just real quick before we move on. I realized during this match, and I have to find the graphic, but it's this one here. Why does Duke Hudson's lower third look cleaner than the Tron graphic? That has always bugged me about the Chase U Tron graphic. It looked so sloppier compared to the lower thirds that we would get. And I don't know if it's because it's on a giant LED screen or what it is, but it just irked me in particular tonight, so I had to shout it out.
That's fair. Understandable.
Hold on. Sorry, hold on. Wait 1 second. Hold on. I don't know if we're going to get in trouble for this, but I'm going to show you guys anyway. So, I don't know if you can see this. Can you guys see this?
Just mute it.
Okay, I'll mute it. Hold on. All right. Hold on. All right, there we go. Hold on. Shit. There we go.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Yeah, watch one more time.
From this angle.
God. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, that was...
that is...
Just didn't rotate him over enough.
This is everything I get scared of when Giulia goes to the PC. One of these models not dropping her on her fucking head. Jesus Christ.
John, actually, while we got you here, I had asked Mac earlier on in the night. I wasn't sure if you were going to jump in, but as far as Giulia's in-ring style tonight, how toned down would you say it is from her style wrestling in Japan?
it's a lot less suplexes and a lot less drops to the neck. So Chelsea was not dropped onto her neck 4 times in this match. And there was no and Giulia is generally, and everybody is generally a little stiffer in Japan. So that's one of the things that Kenta struggled with a lot. That's why Hideo Itami never really worked, because it was just hard for him to translate over to, pillow fluff hits. I mean, he's used to like dropping that shit in. And then of course there were the inexperienced people who dropped him on his head. So these are the kind of things you have to worry about in the NXT PC. But she looks like she's going to translate over. Giulia's going to translate over very well.
I could see her having like a stiff match with like an Asuka or an Io Sky or or a Kairi Sane or something like that. The other girls that are used to working that style, but girls that are coming out of like the NIL system, and no disrespect to them. I think Sol Ruka and all the other girls, Kalani Jordynne, I think they're great. I didn't like them in the beginning, but we're going to talk about it in a minute. The match that Sol Ruka had with Jordynne Grace, I thought she very well held her own. But yeah, I'd always say that you have to go someplace else before you go to WWE, because you need that experience. Right. And that's why everybody online's been like, oh, I can't wait for Giulia and Asuka. I can't wait for Giulia and Io Sky, because they are going to beat the shit out of each other. Like Bayley, like when Bayley had that match with Io Sky at WrestleMania, Bayley trained Japanese style. She trained over in Japan. So that's why they had that great match, because they both knew what they were doing and they were laying it in. But you can't lay it in with these gymnast girls because they don't have the experience.
Right. But yeah, so we will be talking about her match here in just a second. But before we get to that match, we did have a few quick backstage things to touch on. Pete Dunne had a quick promo backstage. He revealed that he had an eye injury from the match last night on Raw, and he said that after the Trick was hot on the stretcher, he'd be getting that title match. Pretty decent promo from the Bruiserweight here ahead of tonight's main event. After that, they announced that The Miz would also be part of the October 1st CW premiere for NXT. They quickly recapped the Bloodline interfering during tonight's opener, and then we had Wes Lee run up behind Vic Joseph, snatch his headset off, and speaking of the headset, and challenge Zachary Wentz to a street fight at the first CW show. I like that they do that. I love when Vic Joseph gets picked on like this. I always talk about the wrestlers' facial expressions that I really appreciate. Thea Hale being one of them. She's so expressive. It's so good. I have to shout out Vic Joseph, because the man is a very expressive person. He's the Jim Carrey of commentary when it comes to facial expressions. He can look off-put, disturbed, freaked out, scared, hilarious. Yep. Like it's great. It's great. So shout out to Vic Joseph for that. And hey, looking forward to the street fight between Wentz and Lee on that document.
Now, do you think that TNA would want their X Division champion being pinned in an NXT ring, or do you think that Zachary wins again and Wes goes deeper into like psychosis?
That's a tough call. It's a street fight, so it's like, for me to say
it's smoke and mirrors. Yeah.
But I can't imagine that they're gonna have Wes Lee go 0-2 against Zachary Wentz. There's got to be something that necessitates the bigger blow off. And I get that Trey Miguel is injured and won't be able to be a part of it, but it will have to build to something, because a street fight doesn't feel like the blow off that this deserves.
Now, is that in Chicago, the street fight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, wait a minute. So they said that Trey Miguel's only going to be out a few weeks. So a few weeks is 2. So if he's out 2 weeks and they do this on October 1st, he could well be back by then.
He might be. Sure. Yeah, he might be back in time, but we'll have to just wait for October 1st and see.
Yeah.
God, you guys might have made me NXT fans tonight, because I love this show. So I might have to fire up my iPad on Tuesday nights from now on.
Hell yeah,
and
man. Yeah.
I mean, finally, Like, we've been trying to bring you over for how long now? However long we've been doing this stuff for, like 10 months now?
Yeah. Listen,
Crazy.
I'm not watching Level Up. I'll let you guys tell me what happened on Level Up, but I will watch NXT.
So, and that's actually real
It's funny
quick, it's funny you mentioned that. So we have noticed the last few weeks, Level Up, for the folks that watch Level Up Adventure, they have reduced the number of matches the last 4 weeks, and they have been a couple weeks behind on getting it uploaded on Peacock. And CJ said that Sportsnet didn't even show it Friday night. Instead, they showed Main Event. So
exactly.
CJ and I are going to continue covering Level Up where we can, but we will be going through a little bit of a format and rebranding for our Level Up Adventure show that takes place on Sundays. More on that coming this Sunday. You guys will see. But yeah, we're a little fearful that Level Up might be going the way of the dodo sooner rather than later.
Which is unfortunate, especially since NXT Europe already, kind of didn't even make it through the starting line, never even tripping at the finish line. But it feels like if it leads to something bigger for NXT as a whole, I'll be more willing to accept it.
But yeah, so we'll still give the coverage and results and stuff for Level Up, but we will be focusing a little bit more on the deep dives and those sorts of discussions. So the show still will be happening, but we're not sure how much longer Level Up itself is going to be.
They haven't the NXT official NXT Level Up X/Twitter page has not posted anything since August 8th.
That's also a very bad sign. That means they're not even plugging the matches that are happening every week on Twitter.
But also, their last 3 posts were from May 16th, and then June 13th, then July 4th, and then August 8th. So they've all been consistently a month in between each other. So I don't know. I just Googled NXT Level Up status, and it's just coming up 8/16/2024 results. Dante Chen and Drake Moreau duke it out in a clash. That's the first thing that came up.
Okay. Yeah, so it feels like
I'm just looking to see when the last episode of Level Up was on Sportsnet.
Yeah, I'm not.
I have to check.
Let's see, NXT Level Up canceled? What a question mark? Let me see.
Like I said, it just also does strike me a little bit odd that they were doing consistently 3 matches every week, and then they dropped it down to 2, and they didn't increase the match length at all. It just kind of feels like
added more filler.
Yeah. They knocked it down to being, from like a 30-minute show to like a 22-minute show, and they're doing more commercials. So it doesn't feel great for them, which is unfortunate. But.
Well, it says right now, ring announcers Sarah Schreiber, December 8, 2023 to present. So I'm not seeing anything about it being canceled.
Right, so as of yet, they've not made any moves, but it might be one of those things where it's going to be maybe a quiet transition.
They've added the episode for September 6th.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it went July 26th, August 3rd, August 9th, August 23rd, and September 6th. So it may not be as dead as we're interpreting. It may just be that they haven't been consistently airing or uploading for on demand. And especially interesting because the September 6th episode was the one that didn't air and got replaced with Main Event.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm looking at Hulu right now. It says Friday, September 6th. This week on Level Up, Drake Moreau looks to once again take it to the gatekeeper of NXT, Dante Chen, in the main event.
The gatekeeper.
And we're back to 3 matches.
Yeah.
Dante Chen takes on Drake Moreau. Danny Palmer
Yep.
engages with Laney Reed, and Izzy Dame goes one-on-one against Layla Diggs. Level Up is back, baby.
All right, maybe the tales of its demise have been. Now, I will say, I'm looking at my Peacock right now. God, I hope everyone heard every word of that. But the most recent Level Up that I am showing on Peacock's in demand is the August 23rd episode.
Yeah, on Hulu it has the September 6th.
Now, I did look at over the weekend, and that episode was not there. So it is very possible that Peacock's On Demand may have it as early as tomorrow.
Yeah, because what's today? Today's the 11th, right? Yeah. Well, it'll be
Today's
the
the
11th.
10th.
Yeah. So, for another 30 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So they might just be a week behind. Who knows?
Okay, so I was unaware, Mac, until you just said this, that Level Up is on Hulu.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking at it right now.
And the September 6th episode is on there. I had no idea that it was on more than one thing. I didn't know that. Holy crap. Okay, well, you know what, folks? Never mind. The Level Up adventure continues. Damn it.
Canada doesn't have access to Hulu or Peacock. What?
We figured out I could do that the other day. You just got to give a thumbs up like this. Yeah, see? And I can do a thumbs up too.
I told you stop that wizard shit. You're in Massachusetts. I'm gonna get you burned.
Is it because I'm Canadian? It didn't work for me. What the fuck?
I think he's got a
Apple
fucking
thing?
iPad.
No, I'm not on my iPad. I'm on my phone.
You on your phone? What kind of phone is that?
This is the iPhone 15 Plus.
It's a goddamn. It's the same thing.
Mobile device.
Oh, goodness.
All right, what do we got next?
Let's get back on track. Now that we discovered that apparently Level Up is hunky-dory and A-OK.
Before we talk about the last match we have to talk about, probably we'll take care of some business because we have a lot of people that help Dirt Sheet Radio be able to do what we do. Speaking of, comicbookclick.com/Dirt Sheet Radio, your home for everything wrestling, entertainment, pop culture, whatever. Check us out, comicbookclick.com/Dirt Sheet Radio. Catch the Major Issue Show every single Thursday. You catch the Cold Case Project on YouTube. Be sure to shop DSR on our Shopify store. Check out our Delphin Pod shows, which are available everywhere podcasts are found. And if you use our promo code DSR10 on monk.com, you save 10% on your organic handheld essential oil diffusers. And we can get back to talking about wrestling.
I don't think Excalibur himself could get through that many plugs that quickly. That was impressive, brother.
Honestly, I'm just rattling through because I know we got bills to pay, but fuck, let's just get back to talking about wrestling.
Right. But all right. So the last match we will be discussing here tonight was Jordynne Grace's open challenge for her Knockouts Championship, and that open challenge was met by Sol Ruca. Fantastic choice. I know CJ was going to be excited about that one as soon as the music hit.
I'm in love.
Yeah, great match. Unfortunately, much like tonight's opener, this was ruined by outside interference when Wendy Chu and Rosemary, after a blackout, jumped Jordynne Grace. So Jordynne wins via DQ. Around the 9-minute mark. But up until that point, this match was absolutely wonderful. Again, a clash in different styles. The more acrobatic, offense of Sol against the more power-based offense of someone like Juggernaut Jordynne Grace. I thought they worked very well together. Solid work. Gentlemen, what did you think of this Knockouts title match? First ever Knockouts title match to take place in an NXT ring.
I thought it was great. It was incredible to see Sol Ruca, who was not wearing a knee brace for this match. So clearly she is 100% healed. Looking forward to seeing her continue to be at her best. The finish was good for everybody but Sol Ruca, though. And that it sucks because it really, like, we knew going in that Jordynne Grace was going to win, but then to have the DQ finish be the story and leave you on the sidelines is not the best look. So hopefully they give her the chance to get some retribution.
Dude, that muscle buster by Jordynne Grace looked great. She's just great at everything, man. Like, I remember watching her wrestle at Beyond Wrestling, and I'm not body shaming anybody here, but she was a little bit bigger, but she was still doing all the moves that she's doing now. Even, she has, 0.5% body fat on her. She would wrestle guys at Beyond Wrestling and just keep right up with them. And it kind of like reminds me of like TNA's like Rhea Ripley in a way, where I was talking to a friend last night and they were saying like, oh yeah, Rhea Ripley, if she wins the title again, okay, she's got the title, okay, she's gonna dominate, but like, he's like, get her like in the Intercontinental title mix. I know they're never going to do it because they have sponsors and they're never going to have men hitting women on TV, even if it's fake, man, Jordynne Grace she strikes me as the type of like you could just throw her right into the TNA title main event and she can go right up against Nick Nemeth and be a contender, just like if a Rhea Ripley went up against somebody like, one of the guys on Raw. Say if she went up against like JD McDonough, she could easily have a great match with JD McDonough or Carlito or somebody like that, But yeah, Jordynne Grace, she's going to be in WWE eventually. Mm-hmm. She's they're just gaslighting her right now, like, oh hey, it's a crossover. It's like, no, we're scouting you, bitch.
It's funny that you mentioned that because as soon as you said Rhea versus JD or Rhea versus Carlito, I am for some reason just got it in my head that what if the blow-off match was Rhea versus Dom?
Yeah, I think that's where they're going.
That'd be fantastic.
I think they have to do it on pay-per-view because I don't think the sponsors on like Raw would really like that.
No, I don't think they would appreciate that.
Oh, it's Netflix.
Netflix.
Well, but they're still going to have sponsors on Netflix. They're still going to have ads. Like, I was talking to Jonathan about this the other day, and we were talking maybe a couple weeks ago, and I said, look, they're doing these edgier storylines right now with like Liv, like pushing all up against on Dom because they can go a little bit further when they get to Netflix, but don't expect like the F word. Maybe you can throw a shit or a bullshit or an asshole around, but you're not going to get the F word.
You don't think you'll get a single F word?
You probably will, but it's going to be like an AEW F word where they say it once every maybe 2 or 3 months. I don't think
when
it's going to be
Rock comes back. When the Rock comes back, he is absolutely dropping an F-bomb, and it will not be censored.
Well, that's because the Rock is part owner of the company, so he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Right.
But I don't think you're going to have going, hey, Liv Morgan, get out here, you fucking slut. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want it to be completely honest. Like,
yeah.
God, if this was 2005, though, and it was WWE on Netflix, it would be, well, first of all, it would be on DVD, but like that era of WWE TV on 2024's Netflix would be unhinged.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, especially with Vince McMahon still in charge and bra and panties matches every, Monday night,
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh God. But so after the Grace and good grief. Whew. Almost choked myself out there. After the Grace and Sol Ruca match, we had a quick few segments here backstage. We had Tatum Paxley and Lyra Valkyria hanging out back there, playing with dolls, setting up for a tag match that we'll be seeing, I believe, next week. between them and Rosemary and Wendy Chu. But this was a fun little segment. I enjoy the interplay between Lyra and Tatum Paxley. It's a lot of fun. One of my favorite things she said here, she's like, you've got a lot of nice coping mechanisms here.
My favorite thing? You know my favorite thing was? So number one was the Becky Lynch reference, because we haven't seen Becky Lynch in like 3 months. Mm-hmm. Number two, where she said, Wendy Chu just became obsessed with the title or something. She goes, and she lost her mind. She goes, yeah, I can relate. Because Tatum Paxley had turned on Lila Valkyrie and she was the champion because she wanted the title. So, that I'm glad that they're referencing that, because when they got back together, I was like, why are you helping her? She beat the brakes off of you the last time you were in NXT. And what is stopping WWE from pushing Lila Valkyria? She has the look, she has the skills, she has the entrance, and they're doing dog shit with her on the main roster.
Bird lady, good.
There was a sentiment that I had seen online from someone that was essentially that Triple H can book a great main event, but not so much mid-card and tag team and women's divisions. Like that's where his biggest faults are with booking. I'm not saying that. That's the sentiment that I saw online, but what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, because I mean, if I'm booking the mid-card right now, I'm building up Lila Valkyria to get a eventual title shot against Liv Morgan. Not saying she's going to win or anything, but I mean, just look at her. She's got the bird person entrance, which is great. She's got the look. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she can go in the ring. Like, I would love to see her get out of with Damian Priest's girlfriend there and Katana Chance. I'd love to see her get away from them and start feuding with, I'm not going to say Liv Morgan right away, but I would just love to see her get just a chance, because it's been the Liv Morgan and Rhea show for 6 months now. Yeah. And I would just love to see another women's feud that's not Liv and Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it's a Triple H problem. I think it's a pro wrestling problem. I think there's a lot of there's a fundamental problem in introducing a wrestler before they have something to do with them, or sometimes where they have something planned down the line, so they just want them on TV so that you know who they are. But that just kind of makes it worse, because now they seem like a nothing person all this time until you're ready to do whatever it is you plan on doing. And I don't know how to fix that. I mean, essentially, logic says you just want to be like, well, write a better story for them too. But it's like, if it was that simple, I'm sure that they would have done it already.
Right.
So I don't know that you can fix something like that. The thing that you could do is, when somebody's story's over, just kind of take them off TV until it's time to come back. But then that would kind of fuck the momentum too. So how do you find the balance there? It's really hard. I'm glad that there are people that get paid a lot more than me to figure it out, but it seems that they haven't. So so that leaves us here struggling and dealing with 3 hours of Raw. Thankfully, not for much longer this year.
Yeah.
Why are they going back to 3 hours when they hit Netflix?
I don't know that they're gonna go back to three, like a hard 3 hours. I'm sure it's gonna be like 2:45,
kind of floating between 2 and 3.
Yeah, even John said it on the podcast last night that they're not going to have like a set time. Like, they can pretty much, with Netflix approval, like, hey, we're going to go 2 hours and 35 minutes
also,
here. Hey, we're going to
go. That doesn't account for if they have a guaranteed number of ad breaks that they have to hit for Netflix. Since they have to, then it just has to be 3 hours every week, no matter what. That's a new world for Netflix. I don't know Netflix for having ads. I didn't even know they had an ad tier. What ads do they play on Netflix? I've never seen a Netflix ad tier.
I will actually be resubscribing to Netflix here pretty soon. It's been a long time since I've had Netflix.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore either.
I've had it for a while. I didn't know they had ad tiers.
ads on Facebook that are like, oh, $5.99 for the ad-supported tier.
I'm not trying to sound privileged. We get a military discount from T-Mobile.
Oh, there you go.
It's not the same.
I said to John earlier, I go, hey, WrestleVotes reported that they might not have a hard 3-hour thing, and John's like, yeah, I scooped that motherfucker last night on my podcast.
Yeah, but he was just using fucking common sense. I should have tweeted that shit and said that somebody told it to me. Sources, actually, inside sources.
Yeah. Inside sources. Stay.
I'm gonna whisper. John will whisper it to his kid, and his kid will whisper it back to him.
There you go. That's how it works. Oh man. But so after the doll segment back there, we got a Funaki sighting. We had
SmackDown #1 announcer.
But he was translating for Giulia for Ava there, and they were quickly approached by Roxanne Perez here, putting some juice behind their match that will be taking place on that jam-packed October 1st episode.
Giulia's sign-off when she signs off of matches, right? She goes, arrivederci, because she's half Italian.
Right.
I can't wait until we get, a promo from her, because she said she understood Roxanne, and there was rumors going around that she was working with an English coach for months now. So, she goes, I understand. She goes, if you are scared, you are right to be, you better be, or something like that. And I was like, oh, right. Damn, okay. She's got it down, because she would cut some promos in English in Japan if American fans were watching, So, I can't wait for that. That's going to hit different in the WWE ring.
And I actually say too, her mic work tonight. Now, granted, last week it was very short. She said one sentence. It sounded a lot more confident and a lot more solid tonight than I think it did last week.
Yeah, what? The funny thing is that she was a star over in Japan, but now she's establishing herself here. Mm-hmm. So obviously, there's going to be nerves when you start out. So maybe when she got in the ring last week, listen, I remember hearing a story that, Cal Ripken Jr. got butterflies when he went up to the plate every single time, and the guy played for 20 years in Major League Baseball. So there's always going to be butterflies, whether you're walking out in front of 30,000 people or 300 people, there's always going to be butterflies. So maybe there was a little what do you call it? Introductory phase last week. And maybe at the PC this week, she was like, yep, all right, I got it. Let's go.
Yeah, I dug it. I thought it was a solid, quick little segment there. I thought.
Yeah, it was good. It was quick, but it built up for the match pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're scared, you should be. That's great.
But after that, two more quick little backstage jumps here. We had I'm sure which order they were in here. I've got them both pulled up here. The Brooks Jensen one was first. All right, so. Brooks Jensen talking to Dion Lennox, wanting to know the meaning of gaslighting before they were approached by Sean Spears. So the gaslighting of Brooks Jensen continues, and I said this last week. I'm enjoying this angle with Sean Spears and Brooks Jensen. I think it's working well for both of them. Again. To NXT's credit, they're making me care about wrestlers that I did not care about a few months ago, and that actually counts for both Brooks and Spears here. I've never been a Sean Spears guy. I know you're never really like, oh my god.
What's his what's his injury? He was in a sling.
With the arm?
Yeah, he was in a sling. Does anybody know his injury? What he's got going on?
I don't even know if that's legit. Something is.
Oh, he was in a pretty legit cast.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I remember seeing. I thought it was storyline.
I know he was in it last week too, but I'm not sure if it's a legit injury or not.
Looking it up right now.
Yeah. I'm texting somebody to see if they know.
Somebody's gonna have to do a dance. This is too much dead air.
Oh, sorry.
really have no idea. I can't find anything. But anyways,
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah. So not sure if it's a legitimate injury or not, but there's something going on. But again, just furthering the angle there just a bit, which was good. They jammed a lot of stuff into tonight's show, and then one more backstage segment. We had Ashante the Adonis with a little bit of back and forth with Eddie Thorpe, who now had 5 of the women in the PC with him, which was one of them. And Ashante's just getting more and more upset here that he has so many female friends. I don't know why this upsets him. So
Play hater of the year.
I guess so. Like, he is just unhappy with it. But
this character still just gives me the icks. Like, I don't like it. It just doesn't sit well with me. I think the climate for this sort of tone deaf character it's still not right.
Right.
But that's not for me to decide.
I mean, is there any consolation to you that, like, he's going to get his ass kicked at some point?
Yeah.
No,
I think it's fine because he never gets the girl. He's a complete loser. This guy is a total loser. It also plays on the real life kind of reputation of the PC, where people kind of go down there and shack up because they're all young and hot. I think it's funny. I think it's very self-aware. Pretty soon they're going to have Shawn Michaels making jokes about the kind of people he recruits to the PC and why they're all so pretty, even the men.
I mean, he is the sexy boy, so he's got a legacy to uphold here.
This is very true.
Yeah. I mean, I've liked Eddie Thorpe since he was in New Japan when he was Carl Fredericks. I thought he had a lot of potential. I thought that they were going to start pushing him, and then all of a sudden, boom, he gets signed by NXT. I know he's been injured since they did that NXT Underground match, and he's just coming back. But I really want to see a lot. I like Carl Frederick, Eddie Thorpe. I got to say by his new name now. But I like Eddie Thorpe. I hope they give him a push. Beating up a tone-deaf idiot who seems to be kind of like an incel type character that doesn't have any bitches. Yeah, it kind of works out, So I want to see it. Yeah, I'm interested.
All right, fair enough.
But all right, gentlemen, before we hop into tonight's Jobbers and Megastars of the Night, anything else on tonight's program that we did not touch on that you would like to bring up?
Not really.
I mean, I've given NXT a lot of shit, and I am here to say that I was wrong. I enjoyed this show.
Right on.
There we go.
I will say real quick before we do hop into the Jobbers and Megastars, they did announce for next week's show there will be the contract signing. Obviously, when they made the graphic, they didn't know.
Yeah.
It will be between Paige and Trick. We also we'll have Lola Vice taking on JC Jane one-on-one in tag action. Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley taking on Wendy Chu and Rosemary. And CM Punk will also be live with some sort of an announcement. That being said,
they really should make that tag match a number one contenders match to face Jade and Bianca.
God, why not? Yeah, hell, let's do that. I did
fuck it.
That.
Yeah, fuck it.
Oh, goodness gracious! All right, so let's talk about tonight's NXT Jobber of the Night. All right, so great show. Oh, that's the Megastar. I hit the wrong graphic. Sorry, guys.
Oh no, everything's ruined.
That jobber John Cena never going anywhere.
Yeah.
There's Gilbert.
Now here's a real megastar. Good old Gilbert. Hall of Famer, first ballot, 2025. I stake my career on it.
Hey, he was a great hand. I'm just clicking all the wrong.
Shout out to the flagship podcast.
We'll get there. Get there.
Yeah.
But Jobbers of the Night. Mac, you're not usually with us on Tuesday nights, man. So I'm going to let you take the lead on this. Who do you have as your Jobber of the Night tonight?
So somebody who I wanted to run up and punch my TV and hope that he felt it is, and I think that's the vibe that he gives off is Lexus King, Brian Pillman Jr. I'm not calling him by that stupid name. Brian Pillman Jr. Oh God, go to jail. Just go do something. Go to somewhere. I don't care where you go. Just go to Super Hell. I don't care.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to jail.
Look at him. Go to jail, buddy.
Oh, that beard does feel like it should carry some kind of criminal penalty.
I do imagine they just put a stencil over his face and spray it, right?
Yeah, so he should be arrested for being drunk in public because nobody that's not inebriated would get that design on his face. So you go right to jail, buddy. Don't pass go. Get out of my face. My jobber of the night is Brian Pillman, Lexus, whatever.
That's fair. CJ, brother, who you got tonight, man?
I think as far as a competitor that was on tonight's card, unfortunately, I got to go with Chelsea Green. This was a really good match, and I felt like their styles worked together really well. Plus, the character clash worked well. Like, it really... she just felt funnier in this match. I don't know what it was, but she came out on the losing end because it was Giulia's debut, and so therefore jobber of the night.
All right. Fair enough. My jobber of the night, half of it pains me because I like them so much, but it's actually going to two tag teams. It's going to Gallus and Hank and Tank because I feel they got royally screwed tonight. The team that was it kills me. It's one of those kayfabe things where it's like, why? It doesn't make sense. You know, if the team that won the match could not compete in the match they qualified for, then you go to one of the other teams that was attempting to qualify. That's what makes the most sense. And then, also it's like these guys were vying for the tag titles. They're NXT talent, but no, you went to the main roster and pulled people down. Sure. Okay, fine. So it hurts my soul to say Hank and Tank are jobbers in any capacity, but it's really more how they were treated tonight. It's not, they're not jobbers themselves, they were treated as such.
So you want to say that Ava Rain is the jobber because she's the one that booked it?
You know what? There you go. There you go. That's fair. It's Hank can take by proxy, but truly it is Ava Rain. So there you go. But that's going to transition us from the jobbers to something much happier and much more vibrant. The megastar of the night. Gentlemen, who would like to take point on the megastar of the season?
Go for it, Mac.
I'm going with Giulia. I just love her. I love her so much. She's man, I'm so excited for her future. I think she, when I think back about when they said that AEW didn't have any interest in her, I kind of at first was pissed off about that because I love AEW so much. But then I really thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I was like, there's people like Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker at the time that we hadn't seen on TV in months, and now I know why. But I was like, man, if they bring her down in NXT, she's going to be champion right away. And then boom, fucking 4 months later, they're like, oh, she's coming in immediately and getting a title shot. I'm like, this is the star treatment that she deserves because she's extremely talented. Her aura is just off the charts.
Yeah.
She's very, very aesthetically pleasing. Let's just say that. And I'm just so excited about her future, man. I just love her. I've been watching her for about 4 years now, and she's had star written all over her since like right before the beginning of the pandemic when she started to like catch on when she had her hair versus hair match. She's going to be my megastar forever if they keep her in NXT. CJ
guys,
say something.
I wasn't sure if you were wrapping up, and then I was like, is Tyler going? No, okay. I think as far as my megastar of the night, I got to give it to Trick Williams. he came out on top in a match, what I would say is his best match to date. The story worked so well. The finish was fantastic, and I realized that part of that was Ethan Page's interference as well. But he knocked it out of the park tonight, and now he's got the title match to show for it. So he's my megastar.
Right on. I'm gonna lean in Mac's direction here. I'm going with Giulia tonight. I thought they did a fantastic job with her debut. It was a solid match. It showed, like Mac said earlier, it showed a taste of what she's capable of. It leaves you wanting to see her doing much more, and we are going to get that in the very, very near future. But I thought they handled her presentation very well. She just has so much natural charisma. You know, you talked about that unnameable X factor that makes someone a star, and she's got that, and she's got it in spades. And the promo video set up very nicely. It was good, just from start to finish. She's my megastar tonight.
All right,
but y'all that are watching us live and maybe watching us in demand after, however you choose to do that. I've got some news for you here, and you probably know this already, but this is part of what we got to do. We got to let the people know what's going on. We're not just here to cover NXT every week. That'd be odd if that was the sole purpose of Dirt Sheet Radio. It's not. We do a lot of everything. Professional wrestling never stops, and Dirt Sheet Radio is always on, and we are here pretty much every day of the week talking wrestling with you guys. We're here every Monday night, breaking down Monday Night Raw live. We're here, obviously, on Tuesdays talking NXT. Wednesdays were built for AEW Dynamite. Thursday nights, the NXT sibling program, as I like to say, the TNA Impact. And then Fridays, of course, SmackDown. Now, folks, if you're up very, very late on Wednesdays after the AEW Rewind, you can check out the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship show every single Wednesday, super duper late. But if you're like me and have to be up early, just listen to it Thursday mornings. It's going to be there waiting for you when you wake up, I promise. And then also on Sundays, we have CJ and Tyler's Level Up Adventure. As we found out live on air tonight, it seems like Level Up is a lot out there than we thought it was going to be. And it looks like like it is in, tales of its demise have been greatly exaggerated. But so we will be live this Sunday, breaking down Level Up with an all-new deep dive as well. So tune in for that. And also live on Sundays, the 3NT podcast. The guys are always going live on Sundays. Check them out. I say this every time. That is like the most crisp, pixel-filled graphic I have ever seen in my life. But check the guys out live every single week. We have a lot of fun here at Dirt Sheet Radio. Before we get off here, Mac, man, thank you for joining us tonight, brother. It was great having you on.
Hell yeah.
But tell the folks at home where they can find you on the socials and where they'll see you next.
You'll probably see me tomorrow on the AEW Dynamite wrap-up show right after Dynamite gets off the air. I'll be with John and Nick and maybe somebody else. I don't know. Whoever decides they want to no clip in. I'll probably most likely like 95% be on the flagship show at maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whenever John wants to do it on Wednesday night / Thursday, early Thursday morning. You can follow me on Instagram at Curbside Hero. It's a bunch of numbers because I've had my Instagram taken away from me from being a dickhead, but I've had this one for 3 years, so I guess I've changed, right? So you can find me Curbside Hero. Just type in Mac or Macklin, whatever, it'll come up. And I have a Facebook page. You can find me at Mac Burns. Maybe I'll accept you. I don't know. It's kind of like a friends and family thing, but I do have Dirt Sheet Radio people. So if I know you from the comments and stuff, I might add you. It's a Russian roulette. We'll see.
CJ.
Well, I'm always here Tuesday nights. I try and be here every Tuesday night. Every Friday night as well for SmackDown. I try and be where I can now on Raw now that I'm back to working Monday nights. And of course, every Sunday, CJ and Tyler's Level Up Adventure. Looking forward to getting back into that. We'll see. We'll see if they continue to air episodes, but case-by-case basis. Otherwise, I'm on Twitter at CJCarter22, and I just love doing this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And as always, I am Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster, at PW Hipster over on Instagram and Twitter. Don't really do much on Twitter and Instagram. It's really more where I do spooky things. But wrestling stuff, the Pro Wrestling Hipster over on Facebook. It's where you can find me doing fun stuff like this and making silly memes and sometimes upsetting people. It happens from time to time, guys. Sorry. Proud to say I've got more than a few critics out there. And of course, you can see me here every Tuesday night. And typically on Mondays, I have had to miss Raw the last few weeks, but I should be back this coming Monday on Raw. So looking forward to that. And then, Sundays, me and CJ breaking down Level Up. And like you said, even if something goes wonky with Level Up, we'll at least be here doing some deep dives and talking wrestling on Sundays. We just have too much fun doing it to not do it.
Exactly.
But that's where we'll be. And hey, a massive thank you to everyone that tunes in live tonight.